Hey folks, Fernando doing another video here for the Modern Survivalist, and I'd like to comment on some of the things that are being said regarding why this building in Florida collapsed. I was just watching the images and hearing some of the experts talk about this. I'll say this right away. I'm no engineering expert. Everything I know about structures is what I studied in architecture school in the University of Buenos Aires, which is, I'll be the first one to admit, quite limited. But I can tell you a few things, I guess, that I suppose most of the average people that haven't studied any structural engineering of any kind probably don't know. The first thing I can tell you, and pretty much every expert will agree with this, and not only experts, anyone that ever built anything will agree with this, is, man, concrete and steel is old. It's been around forever, and it's maybe one of the more reliable, rugged ways of building this kind of building. Okay, so it's been around for a very long time and quite successfully so. Even when you see stuff that it's improperly built, like across Latin America, you see this all the time, different structures being raised by people with barely any understanding, and it's really not that hard to get it right if you stick to some minimum parameters. And of course, in a building like this, in a place like this, these are all buildings that have been correctly engineered and measured, and it seems that no corners were cut. Sometimes you come across things that were approved through bribes and that sort of thing, or they cut corners with the materials. Apparently, at this stage, that is not the case. So what you're looking at is mostly a couple possibilities. The first one is the one that probably is the one that inclined me to do this video, because I'm pretty sure it's not the case, and it will be interesting to see if this is what happened or not, which is the idea that because of where this is built, right in front of the ocean, right in front of the beach and a lot of salt, that the metal in the structure corroded, and this is what caused the building to collapse. Is it theoretically possible? Yes, it is. Has it happened before? Yes. But it's usually a lot more noticeable, a lot more visible. What you're looking at is, especially in a building of this size, you would have seen huge amounts of leakage of orange rust in several parts of the building, and recently passed an inspection, I believe. So I don't see how that could have been missed. This is the kind of thing that people in the building would have noticed and complain about. It is not just a little bit of rust. You're talking about the entire rebar or whatever metal they had, because it may be pre-tensed concrete, I think that they were using in some. Either way, you have to notice this, because the metal is precisely surrounded by the concrete. One of the important things that concrete does here is actually protect the metal from rust. Metal will rust no matter what. Yes, it will rust a lot faster when you're constantly exposed to salt, but when that metal is surrounded by concrete, and there can be cracks and leakage, and rust can start here and there, and it may be a huge problem, but I would bet that it's a lot more noticeable and a lot more visible. And one of the other things that I've seen said that I truly don't believe is the case, that there was a pancake collapse because of too much weight in the roof. Like someone put too much weight in the roof of the building, and that's why it ended up collapsing, because that first, that top level fell, and that causes this pancake like domino kind of effect. I don't think that's the case. First of all, you need to put a lot of weight into something like that just to make it collapse. It would have been extremely negligible for someone to do that. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I just think it's rather unlikely. And besides, when you see these images, what you see mostly is that it collapsed like as if it was, like an explosive charge in the base. And of course, that's not what happened. No one, put explosives in the structure of this building. But if I had to make a guess, I would say that this building was not on proper ground, or it had changed over the years, and there was very much like a sinkhole. Sinkholes are things that happen, and especially when you're near the coast. That's one other thing that happens, is there's movements of of water underneath. There may be a damn river under that building that you previously didn't notice because it previously didn't actually exist. And when you have sand, when you have soft earth, and of course when you build a building of this scale, that's all compacted and such. But that doesn't mean it cannot change later on, especially when you're this close to water. So you see how it goes like as if it lost its footing. And also, one of the things that is very interesting is that people that evacuated notices this. They saw that it was a cloud of dust, and they heard something, and some of these people managed to leave before it all fell apart. If it had started from the top, I'm pretty sure that this is just not the case. If it started from the top, you wouldn't have seen any of that. It would have been the top floor that collapsed on top of the second to last floor, and that creating a domino effect, and that just crashes everything. But here it seems that it started from below, like something below cracked, just gave, and the entire thing went down as if it had an explosive charge. So this is all just, guesstimations and nothing more than that. And one of the good things, if there's anything good out of this tragedy, is that we will know what happened here, because if this is all due to corrosion and rust, and the metal not being structurally sound anymore, you will see that. There's going to be huge chunks of missing metal and just rust where metal was supposed to be. There's not going to be much of a guessing game there. And if that's not the case, and they see that there's a lack of ground once they remove all that rubble, and they see that there's just emptiness or a damn river underneath the video, underneath the building where it wasn't one before, then there's your answer. It just the water movement started moving around soil, and little by little corroded and took away the foundation of where this thing was standing, and that's what made it collapse, made it go down just like that. So just at this point, just theories and your best guess. This is your best guess is going to be just as good as mine at this point. But if I had to make any bets, I would say that was it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think there in the comment section. What's your theory? If you have any background on the structure, construction, or calculation, or any sort of thing, that would be interesting as well. Okay, guys, see you in the next video. Have an awesome day.